make sure that we coordinate with that, Mr. Palmer. Thank you. Chair now recognizes Ms. Norton from Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Santos, thank you for being here today. The census plays a critical role for communities across the country. For example, in fiscal year 2021, more than 2.8 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars across 353 federal assistance programs were directed by census data. Census data helps determine the federal funding communities get for critical services like hospitals, fire departments, and schools. Director Santos, in order to accurately understand the makeup and needs of our communities, do you agree that we need to ensure that as many people as possible respond to the Census Bureau's surveys?
Yes, I agree with that.
Director Santos, what effect can it have on communities when populations are undercounted?
That can lead to underfunding.
The Republican bill to fund the census for fiscal year 2025 would require certain migrants be excluded from apportionment decisions based on census data. In 2019, the Trump administration tried to do this by attempting to add a question to the 2020 census asking about citizenship status. Research has shown that adding a citizenship question could have led to 9 million fewer people completing the 2020 census. And census staff reported that just the debate over adding such a question in 2019 made people fearful to engage with the census. Notably, we already have methods for understanding citizenship trends because of other Census Bureau surveys. Mr. Santos, isn't it true that the Census Bureau already asks about citizenship in the annual American Community Survey?
That is correct.
The American, were you finished?
I said correct.
The American Community Survey was created to make the decennial census simpler to complete. This facilitates higher participation and preserves privacy, and better census data in turn enhances that communities receive funding and support that align with their needs. Asking about citizenship status on the census would discourage people from participating and undermine the constitutionality, the constituently directed purpose of the census. It would particularly impact minorities who are already undercounted in the Senate. I have introduced the Ensure Full Participation in the Census Act, H.R. 7911, to prohibit the Census Bureau from asking questions on the decennial census about citizenship, nationality, or immigration status. I urge my colleagues to join me in addressing this issue by co-sponsoring my bill. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman, and yield back.
Chair now recognizes Mr. Biggs from Arizona.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Director. Just generically, is it correct to state that the purpose of the census is to conduct a head count, which is to be used to determine the apportionment of this body and of presidential electors?
Correct.
And thus, inaccurate census counts could lead to skewed proportional representation among states in this body and a misallocation of electoral college votes.
Correct.